So there's a very famous quote by photographer Chase Jarvis, and he said, "The best camera is the one you have with you." Sadly, that doesn't apply to stock photography, because let's say this is the camera you have with you, a GoPro. Great sports camera, but it's not going to be very good at doing portraits or landscapes. So if you're looking to get action shots or video of action backflips and stuff like that, then this is the camera you want. If you're trying to get aerial shots, that bird's eye perspective, bird's eye view, then you want this camera, something that flies. Maybe not so much something like this unless you have an airplane or a helicopter. So to answer the question, what is the best camera for stock photography? It's an almost impossible question to answer, but let me do my best. So you can see that all of these are tools and they're very specific for a job. So the camera you have is not that important when it comes to stock photography. The lenses are a little bit more important. Oh, but Charlie, last time you said that the Rebel with the kit lens is the worst camera there is for stock photography. Yes. This setup, the Rebel with the kit lens with the 18 to 55 millimeter lens, is, in my opinion, one of the worst things out there. My beef with this camera is that it overpromised and under-delivered. These are starter cameras. I have no problem with it being a crop sensor. Matter of fact, this has been one of my all-time favorite and best earning cameras, the Canon 7D. It's also a crop sensor. Nothing wrong with the crop sensor. This lens is terrible. The kit lens, the 18 to 55. That is something that I believe manufacturers put out there because they're embarrassed of selling you a camera without a lens. So they have to give you something, and they give you this little plastic thingy. They're not great. They don't have great quality. They're very limited use, which is why I bought this, is so that I can make some videos teaching you how to get the best out of this setup. The 18 to 55, the best pictures I got was when I flipped it backwards. Great shots, great macro shots with the lens on backwards. I know a lot of you have this because of marketing. See, my beef with this is it's just like when you watch a YouTube video. You know, you see the thumbnail, you click on it, and the video had nothing to do with the thumbnail. They overpromised and under-delivered. In my opinion, that's a big no-no. All right, so more than the camera, your lens is very important. If you want to shoot a real estate shoot, you're not going to bring a 70 to 200. You're going to bring a wide angle, maybe something like this. This is a 15 to 35. That's going to be perfect for real estate. Maybe even a 24 to 105. This one is going to be more for portraits and for wildlife. So this one's not going to be any good. So you can see how these are very specific. This one's great for portraits. This one is a great walk around, all around lens. What are you going to be shooting? And then you can decide not only which camera to get, but which lens to get. So for example, this is the 5D Mark II. This one and the 7D came out roughly around the same time. Very similar cameras. This one was a little bit more expensive. This one is way better for sports because it does 7 or 8 frames a second. This one is only going to give you 3 to 4. This one is great for portraits or landscapes, where this one's going to be an all-around faster camera, even though the files are a little bit smaller. And then a couple years later, this one came out, the 5D Mark IV. Well, quite a few years later. Great camera all the way around. The Canon R5, great focus, 20 frames a second. It has so many other things that are going to make your life easier, but also the cost is a lot higher than many of these. Photography is a business, and as a business, it should be about priorities. Everybody wants to learn how to make money with this camera. To me, this has never been a priority. This is just a cell phone. It's a complicated computer tracking device that gives you pictures. They're not the best quality. They're getting better and better, but they're not going to replace something like this. The sad reality is how many people line up to buy something like this. And if you look at the prices of used gear, you could buy this, this, and this for less than that. This is going to make you money. This is not. Every manufacturer has a different level for their gear. They have the entry level, the mid-range, and the pro level. Mid-range is perfectly okay for stock photography. You don't have to buy the best out there just don't buy the cheapest out there. This lens is a great example. This is the 50mm 1.4 for Canon. The 50mm 1.8 is known as a plastic fantastic. It's all plastic, it's very light, and it's not that great. The 1.4, it's a little bit more expensive, but it does amazing results. And then the Pro lens is the 1.2, which is awesome, but it's well over $2,000. This one, when it was new, cost me $350. Today, I could buy it for under $100 as a used lens, and it's a perfectly great lens that'll work with any of these cameras right here. It's going to make your life a lot easier as a product photographer, as a portrait photographer, and it's just going to give you better images than anything that comes out of the 18 to 55 kit lens. Let's talk about mirrorless, because I'm using the Canon R5 to film myself, and that's my camera that I use the most now. Mirrorless systems like this one, this is the M6 Mark II. I just watched a video where they're saying that the M system is done. They're not making any more lenses. They're slowly phasing it out. Your lenses are your investment. So when that camera is not going to be making any more lenses, what you have out there is all you're going to get. Eventually, you're going to outgrow that camera and outgrow the lenses. So if you're going to start fresh, try to get into something that has more life to it than something like this. If you can, I recommend getting a new mirrorless system. Maybe not necessarily the M unit that's going away, but something along those lines. Maybe even a smaller Canon R that has the availability to use all these R glass or the RF glass, because they are incredible pieces of equipment. All right, so the one thing I want you to take out of this video is that your gear doesn't really matter. They're tools. You could have the best camera out there, but if you don't know how to use it, you're not gonna make any photos that sell. So no, the best camera is not the one you have with you, it's the camera you know how to use. Getting good photos, it doesn't matter what camera you have. If you don't know how to use the camera, if you don't know how that lens performs, if you don't know the sweet spot of the lens, or how to use that particular piece of equipment. I can't use a hammer to dig a hole. Well, I mean, I guess I could, but it'll be very difficult. So what I'm saying is, just like any other piece of equipment, use it the way it was meant to be used. Use this for action shots. Use this for aerial shots. And this, use it for making phone calls and maybe texting. I don't know if I answered the question, your best camera for stock. There really isn't one. Different cameras do different things. Different cameras are better at some things than others. And depending on what you need and what your needs as a photographer are, that's where the camera is. Just remember your priorities, where your money goes. If you buy something to make money, make sure you use it in a way that is going to generate you some more money. And with that said, I am working on organizing my thoughts and making a video. Now, that takes a long time. There's a lot of random thoughts in there. I'm making a video about life beyond stock. How can you generate money with any piece of equipment, and where some of these excel more than others, and how can you supplement your stock income, or use your stock income to supplement your career as a photographer, which is what I've done. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about photography, how to generate some more money using what you have already, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell so you can get notified when that video comes out. And I think that's it. We'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.